hang on a minute. I'm just trying to get it in the cradle, and it's not wanting to go in at all. There we go. There we go. There we go. Right. Well, hello and welcome back to the live stream. Now you can hear from my voice that I have had a visit from Papa Nurgle this week. So I've actually been off work today. I am feeling grim. So hopefully we will get the full half an hour going. I've got my coffee and I've got a flask to help me out. And in front of me, I have a box of tiny Austrians. So here we are. Evening in my hill. Nice to see you, buddy. So these are printed epic scale Austrians. Now these are, I thought I've been wanting to do this for a while. Basically, I've got this tub that I've printed out and I need to sort them out into units. Hello, David. Hello, Michael. Hello, Gruesome. So I want to sort them out into units, and I spoke about them last week about how there's an eBay channel that is eBay channel, eBay seller that is selling printed armies, and I wanted to give you. I was sort of waxing lyrical about them. Hello, Ben. And I wanted to show you an example of what they look like. Now, as I say, and I've said many times before, I am no master printer, that is for sure. Now, these are Austrians. These are in their helmets. So these are useful for 1805. And they're also going to be useful, and what I'm hoping to use them for is 1809. Now, at To the Sound of the Guns, which is the event we're doing in next September for Epic, it is going to be Waterloo only. So these guys aren't going to be usable for that, but I'm hoping to have the army painted up. I've got some Russians already, not many, but a few. I'm hoping to have the armies painted up and maybe use it as a ringer force, just to show people that there are other options out there. Now, that was the command sprue that I showed you, or command stand. This is a really nice one as well. I just wanted to focus on this one. Let's see if the thing I did, David. I did message you back, buddy. And I said I will do some research and I'll let you know on the live stream. Well, I have done some research and I will indeed let you know in the live stream. So, yes, that's right, Tony. I was talking about it last week. So I thought we'd have a look at the thing. So this is my my army that I've printed. Now, these are, as you can see, these are in strips of 5. Now, usually the Warlord Epic are in strips of 10. So 2 strips of these. So that is the equivalent of 1 strip of Warlord models. Now, what I also wanted to do while I'm up here is, you can see there's a flake of resin on between those 2 troopers there. Now, that comes from the alcohol bath that I washed the models in. So I just need to go back in and pick those out. So bear with me 1 second. I didn't bring my knife up with me because I didn't think I was doing any cutting today. I'll tell you what, actually, I won't use a knife. I've got instead a piece of wire. That will be more than sufficient. So those who are wondering, David asked me, he sent me a question earlier on, which was he's doing 6mm Piedmontese. So Piedmont was a, I don't know what you call it really, a kingdom, I suppose, that was in the Alps in the very early Napoleonic Wars, around about 1800. So they had their own distinct uniforms and things like that. And Dave was asking me if I had any, what would I use for them? So would I just use French infantry painted a different colour, or what would I do? Well, at 6mm, you could definitely use French infantry painted a different colour. The details are not so different that they're going to matter that much, I wouldn't have thought. However, I do think you can be more accurate with them by using American War of Independence, as we call it here, so Revolutionary War, French troops instead, and then paint them the different colour, because they seem to still be wearing tricorns. They still have the long tail coats that you had at the Revolutionary Wars, and yeah, for me, it looked far more like they were a Revolutionary War than Napoleonic Wars. You could also get away with using early Prussians, I think, sort of 1806 Prussians. You could use those instead. But yeah, personally, I think I'd probably go for French, American War of Independence or Revolutionary War. That would be my my recommendation. Now with the Napoleonic units, they have 4 bases normally. I've said in my pack that we're going to go with 3 bases for a standard size unit, 4 for a large one. Now the Austrians are 1806 Prussians. They do indeed have the wrong lapels, but at 6 mil, I think they'll probably be okay. I'm thinking more of the silhouette of the model than anything else. But you're right, Imahil, they do indeed have the wrong lapels. Yeah, they're far more like the French with the it's not a plastron, it's not like a bib over the front, it's like turnbacks on the coat. So yeah, so as I was saying, sorry, the Warlord Games, they have 3 they have 4 bases to a regular unit. Well, I've knocked that down to 3 bases for to the sound of the guns. The Austrians, of course, though, they have large regiments, so it's back up to 4 for the Austrians. So you see here, I'm just popping them out into lots of 8. Now, as I'm coming across these ones that need cleaning off, I'm just cleaning them off. Luckily, because it's done after the models are printed, but before they're cured, the resin sticks to the model, but it comes off relatively easy. As I say, I've got some Russians as well. I decided to do Russians in greatcoats because I thought they'd be quicker and easier to paint. And I'm not going to lie, they are much much quicker and easier to paint. Now, I'm trying not to get too many of the bases of these NCOs on. I think 2 per battalion is probably sufficient. So there we go. So that's 8, 2 lots of 8 strips, 16 strips there. That's enough for 1 Austrian battalion. Now, these are going to be lined, of course. I do have some grenadiers mixed in there as well, and I'm going to just quickly stand them up so we get an idea of what they will look like when in formation. Now I've gone for 2 command groups at the front. That may change. I might knock that down to 1 because I can always just cut off a musket and have a standard glued on there. Now, I'm not 100% sure with the Austrians. Dan, if he's in the chat, he may know this. I'm sure someone else will. The Russians used to have the standards one behind the other, with the like the King's collar, the Tsar's flag at the front, and the regimental standard behind. Now, I don't know if the Austrians did the same thing, or if they had them next to each other. I'm not a la the Brits. Now, I'm not 100% sure about that, if I'm honest. So, it'll take someone with more knowledge than me to know that one. So there we go. So that's the battalion deployed in battalion mass, which is not what they well, they can just about do that in 1809. So that's what they're going to look like when they're painted. They're going to look sweet, I have absolutely no doubt. Once again, apologies for anyone who's tuning in late for my lack of audible enthusiasm today, but I am crook, as the Australians would say. I am not very well, so that's why I thought about cancelling the live stream, because I thought, well, you know what, I'd rather not do something than not do it very well. But we are approaching the end of British summertime quite quickly, so I thought, well, here's some grenadiers. So I thought, well, as we're approaching the end of that, we'll get as many in as possible. Now, there's a little bit of a nubbin on his bearskin there, so I may have to change that. Oh yeah, speaking of which, the Piedmontese Grenadiers, they seem to have old school miters as well, a bit like the American War of Independence British Fusiliers. So you might want to buy a pack of British Fusiliers to count as your Grenadiers as well. That was something else that I noticed. I should also have some Shakos in here as well. Yeah, here we are. Here's the Austrians with Shakos. Go on, camera, you can do it. When I get to the Piedmontese, I should be looking at French AWI. That would be my recommendation, yeah. Found a nice greatcoat. Oh, very cool. Very good. Very cool. 1806 Saxons. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Hello, Zukov. Yeah, no, I watched a guy who, I don't know why he came up on my shorts. He is like a massive nerd. Now, I mean, yeah, we're all nerds, I guess, but this guy is kind of beyond that. He does make me laugh though. But he's an American who's very European in his mannerisms, shall we say. But he's just bought himself a coat from the 1920s and had it. I mean, yeah, he's had it sent it to a tailor to get the vents sorted out and things like this. So it makes me chuckle a lot. But yeah, no, he just got himself his. It's not so much a greatcoat, more like a wool overcoat. But it does look very cool. I used to have a like a Second World War or First World War British overcoat when I was a kid. That was cool. That was super warm. That was. It was good for doing my paper round in the winter. That's for sure. Now these guys here, these haven't been washed off properly, and that's why they're shiny. You can see there's not a huge amount of detail has come through on their bodies. I can just about see straps and things like that. So I'm not going to bin them, but they're definitely a second rank base. Those ones. So more helmets, more NCOs. It looks like every row is going to have an NCO at this rate. So we've got some there. Now the ones at this end have got Shakos, so they're going to be Hungarians. So I'm just sort of working my way in to the middle, and we'll see what we get. To be honest, I wasn't 100% certain how many I've printed, and I certainly don't know what I've printed. You may be able to hear the chugging of my printer in the background. What are we currently printing? Oh yes, I recently bought, and it's very, very nice. So this could be my vignette for Under Eagles to Glory. A French cavalry vignette where they're all sort of sat around a staff table with the different cavalry uniforms. I think there's basically like there's a hussar, a lancer, a dragoon, a cuirassier. There's just basically one of every cavalry regiment, and I thought that was quite nice. So that could well end up being my my vignette. Now this guy here, he's had his musket snapped off. Now I'm not sure how that happened. Probably thrown him in his box, to be honest. But that's not the end of the world. I mean, it's a musket in this huge mass. I'm sure that he's not going to. He's. I'm sure it won't affect his dice rolling. Let's put it that way. Show must go on. Yeah, no. Well, thank you, David. As I say, I was off work today. My boss was not super happy, but yeah, no, I felt mega rough yesterday, and I thought, shall I tell her I'm not going to be in tomorrow, or shall I just pretend it's coming overnight? And I was like, you know what? If I tell her now, she can start sorting out cover and things like this. So I went down to tell her yesterday. She was not thrilled, but she was not thrilled. But yeah, there you go. Now again, I'm looking for the elusive non-NCO strip. So I've got a fair few of them, it must be said. But there we go. There's another. I've got NCO, 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 NCO. So there's one per base there. So that's not necessarily the end of the world. I don't mind having one per base, but that's a second battalion. That is good to go. One of the things that is rapidly coming is because you need. Oh, hang on, I need another command group, don't I? Because they're two per strip, as it were. You think, oh, I've got absolutely hundreds, but it turns out you've not actually got that many. So we'll bung them in there, and then we'll move these over here. But yes, Dave, Freddie Mercury did say the show must go on, and I've got a viral infection, but I hope it's not the same one that Freddie Mercury had. That's for sure. I'm sure he had a lot more fun getting it than I did. I think I picked my my illness up at Partisan. So was anyone else at Partisan? Did you enjoy it? Did you see anything that that particularly caught your eye? Sorry, I'm just pouring more coffee to keep my throat moist. Giggity. yeah, there were quite a few games, and not many Napoleonics. I think I only saw one Napoleonic game there this year, and that was in 50 mil. Yeah, some really nice games. A lot of 100 Years War games using. Well, actually, yeah, no. Here's another question that I've got for you guys. Have you played or read, at the very least, Midgard? Are they any good? Are they worth getting? I looked at them. They were on the Lardy zone. I'm not sure if they're a Lardy game. I didn't think they were, but I think they just sell them. But I did look at them, and then I saw that they were 30 quid. And I must confess, I got a lot less enthusiastic about them when I saw they were 30 quid. For a paperback book as well. If it was hardback, I may have still gone for it. But paperback, 30 quid's a lot of money. And also a tenner for the measuring sticks as well, which you don't really need. But if you're going to do it, then you may as well, I suppose. So, has anyone played Midgard? Anyone got any reviews or any ideas on it? I'm thinking of it for the Trojan Wars, but it would also be useful for Dark Ages, which I'm working on at the moment, or possibly even something like Samurai. But I have also just ordered a set of rules for the Samurai, so that might. Oh yes, I also checked out Fireforge and their Samurai. Now, many years ago, I went to. Where did I go to? I went to Crystal Palace Park. They had a wargaming show on there, and I picked up some Teutonic Knights from Fireforge. And with the best will in the world, they were absolutely dreadful. So I've not really paid that much attention to them. Checked out their Samurai, absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely love them. Their Arab infantry they do for El Cid are a little bit ridiculous. They market them as Moors. Now, these guys here, you can see, this is what we call a delamination from the printing. So it's not great. If I can get rid of the bit that's sticking up, though, I can still use that base. That's I mean, he's got no foot, but at the end of the day, that's not necessarily too bad. Shame it's on a command base, because they're going to be at the front. But I don't think it's worth throwing that whole strip away just for this delamination on the end. So, yeah, so they do what do they do? They do oh, sorry. Sorry, my brain's all over the place today. They do Moors, they call them, Moorish infantry. But they are far too well equipped for Moorish infantry. They've got like chainmail on underneath their robes, and like, you know, multi-layer. They've got like robe, chainmail, robe, cloth padding. So yeah, no, they're far too well equipped for Moors, but they would make excellent Al-Andalusians. So that's what I'm planning on using them as. So this is a Grenadier battalion. Now the Grenadiers would just be a standard size battalion. So this is they. Now again, as I say, there are some that haven't printed very well, but a huge bush on it. Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, so there's only six strips there, so that's pretty good. May I ask what the next start collecting might be? I think it's well. I'll tell you what, I'll open it up to you guys, because I'm a little bit torn. The obvious one to do is to update the starter box ones, so French and British, using Waterloo as the basis. That would make the most sense to me. However, the one that most needs an update, after someone told me, is the Russian video, because the prices have gone absolutely whappy on the Russian stuff that I recommended. So if you'd rather see Russians before the Waterloo continuation starter, then let me know, and I'll do the Russians next instead of the Waterloo starter armies. Or it could be start collecting Piedmontese. You never know. It's not going to be start collecting Piedmontese. Now, now I've got two Grenadier commands here, and realistically, I should only really have one. So, you know, I love my battalions with two flags, but for the Grenadiers, to help mark them out as well, I'm just going to do one. Now that's it, actually. Hang on. Yeah. So where are we? There's this guy here. You can see, not only have they not printed brilliantly, but there's also a big bit of I don't know what you call it really, dried gunge. I did notice that Kingdom of Sardinia, Piedmont, the whole war of the First Coalition gets very little love from wargamers. Yeah, no, it's an interesting one, I guess, because it's again, I think you probably require different armies than you would later. So if you've got an army that is suitable for Waterloo, I mean, of course you can use it in 1800, but I think most people feel that the armies have changed sufficiently that their armies wouldn't suit that. Now this here is really smammed on, so I'm just going to have to learn to live with that. I think again, he's very, very much going to be a second rank guy. He may even be in the back base. One of the big things, and I'm sure David, the 6 mil champion, will agree with me on this, that the important thing is the mass look. The actual individual figure, he's only important in as much as he adds to the mass look. So yeah, I think I could probably get away with slipping him at the back. Papal forces, yeah. Neapolitans, yeah, I haven't done any Neapolitans actually one, so that's not a bad shout. Hello Luke, nice to see you, buddy. I mean, Waterloo French is sort of the obvious one. Waterloo French and British. I've not done the British one in quite a while actually, so there is that as well. I was going to do a British and Egypt one, but it's basically like take your money, divide it by, is it £8.50, and go to the Perrys and get what you want. So that's why I've not really done that one, but I might have another look at that one. Unfortunately, all of my prep for this week's video is on my work computer, so I may have to do something a little. I may have to start researching something sharpish tomorrow. I want to be careful. I don't want to do too much. But that said, if I get rid of the Shakos by accident, there are some spare ones on the French sprues. Now, I do have a few sprues from Warlord. I've got 3 boxes of infantry. So they have spare heads on that you can replace them. I've also got the guards somewhere as well. I'm not sure where they are. So, Duchy of Berg. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Let's see one where it's building to opposing forces in one for a start. Yeah, I did do that with the I did do that as a Waterloo video. So it was as if you wanted to build up both sides, the French and the British. So yeah, I mean that could also be another one that's due a redo as well. Now I'm cracking on with these. What are they called? Hungarians here. Let me see if I've got any Hungarian command. I'm not sure I do. Sounds big, biggity bosh over there. More Hungarians. Oh, these grenadiers have been well decorated. Oh dear. Do I have any Shako commands? Does not look like it. Well, I have one. I shall show you. This is the Shako command. There you go. I don't think that printed very well. Either that or an absolutely humongous cannonball. It's just like the Ottomans have fired a cannonball that's gone straight through the straight through the command group there. Now, the reason I've kept it is this guy here on the end and the standard bearer are both savable on that one. So that's the only reason it's not been binned. The standard bearers, they do have a gap for the flagpole, so that's quite nice. You don't have to drill a hole or anything like that. So it looks like, let me just check my ones I've got off to the side here. That's a helmet, isn't it? Oh yeah, I've got some more Shakos there, but not many. So it looks like I'm going to need to print some more Shako dudes. Oh, they're grenadiers. Now this guy, MC Miniatures, he does absolutely everything you can think of to do with certainly the major powers, and he does a lot of the minor powers as well. But major power-wise, he does... so the Austria is a great example. He'll do Austrians in Shakos, Austrians in helmets, Austrian grenadiers. He does Austrian... He does all of those in greatcoats. He does... what do you call them? He does the Landwehr. He does Jaeger. And then we get onto the cavalry. He does all of the cuirassiers and dragoons, chevalier, all of the good stuff that you would expect from that as well. Go small to go big. 6 mil is the Emperor's favourite scale. A question of the Victrix Middle Guard box, according to my understanding, provides a unit of Old Guard Grenadiers and Chasseurs in a single box. That is correct, Gruesome, yeah. So you get 4 sprues in there, which equals 60 figures, because Victrix put 15 models on a sprue, which does include a command. So you get 12 figures plus 3 command. And you get 2 strips of... 2 sprues of... sorry, yeah. You get 2 sprues of Old Guard Grenadiers and 2 sprues of Old Guard Chasseurs. And then you get a bunch of heads as well to make them into Middle Guard. So, yeah, if you've got units of 24, then you've got your 12 regular troopers per sprue. So that's 24. Plus you've got a command. So that gives you 27. Plus you've got a second command, which you can put onto a base and use as like the regimental or brigade commander, or you could have them just sort of standing around, because you've saved 3 by putting the command group in, so you can have them like standing around like with Napoleon or whatever on one of your command bases, or you could put the 6 together and have a unit of 30 and a unit of 24. So you could do that as well. You could also use 2 officers. You could very easily put into one battalion. 2 drummers you could put into one battalion as well. So you can use the second command group to make it up to sort of 28 or 30 figures. I mean, if you went from, say, with 3 bases of 9, then you could have 27 figures per battalion if you wanted to. That's a bit unusual. I don't see many rules that have that, but I mean, it's certainly possible. So yes, go for the Middle Guard box. Don't go for the like the Old Guard Grenadiers or Chasseurs individually. Ultimately, if you want 2 battalions of each, just buy 2 boxes of the Middle Guard, because you're paying the same amount as you would for the other ones. So buy 2 boxes gives you 2 30-man units each. It does, but as I say, you're going to have 2 standard bearers then. So you might... I went to Melbourne from Perth and I had a painting art guy over English muskets forming square against French cuirassiers. And I had a nerd in front of the girl I was staying with. Well, I hope she looked at you with adoring eyes, quiet eyes. But I don't blame you. Was that Quatre Bras by Lady Butler, or was it a different one? I actually did 32 men with 30 soldiers and a mounted colonel. I mean, you can do that as well. If you've got mounted colonels, obviously piano miniatures do Dorsen and the other one, Caron, is it? I think. So you could do that, or the Perrys do them as well. But yeah, no, my recommendation would absolutely be whatever you are planning to buy in Old Guard boxes. This guy here, he's got a bit of flash on the bottom of his drum. Again, it's delaminated off the bottom of his drum, but that's not necessarily the end of the world. Yeah, whatever you are planning on buying in Old Guard, buy them in Middle Guard instead. So if you was going to say, yeah, for example, I'm going to buy 4 boxes of 2 of Grenadiers, 2 of Chasseurs, then yeah, you're best off just buying the Middle Guard, to be honest. Because you would get exactly the same contents as you do by buying the individual boxes. I use the piano ones. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, makes sense. Hello, Grim. Nice to see you, buddy. And again, with them being European as well, it's they're easier to get hold of for you. So that's an additional bonus. Now here, we seem to not have an NCO on every base. So I'm going to... what's happened to all my NCOs? I don't know. But, oh, well, man. Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah, I've got some more Shakos there. So that's a bonus. We're still going to need another print of Shako dudes, though. But so we've got 3 battalions with helmets now. So 3 battalions of Germans. So that's nice. It's nice. Now, I will also say as well, I am not planning on taking very long to paint these. Now, again, I'm going to throw this open to the audience. What do you think? I can either spray them white, wash them apothecary white, pick out the straps, and then do the details, or I could do them spray them apothecary white, wash them with a bone colour, and then pick out the straps, etc., with white. So that would give them a more creamy appearance than it would the white. Now I'm thinking of maybe going for that one, but what does the audience think? Good evening, Michael. Get started. Von D Rebellion, yeah, fantastic. Well, that's true actually. The Perrys have just done their range, haven't they? They've just started it. And as I said many months ago, I think a cool plastic set would be. Oh, yeah, these guys have been hit by a cannon as well. This guy doesn't even know he's been wounded. So, again, these guys, I can cut them down here, and I've got 3 perfectly usable guys. I could even cut him off, and I could probably get away with him, to be honest. Again, if he goes to the back, he's probably not going to be too bad. So I've got this one here that was another failed print. I can cut him off there. He can go into that gap, and then all of a sudden we've got a full base. So that's not necessarily the end of the world. I don't mind that too much. Gruesome has a question for me. Okay, personally, I do my Austrians white. I mean, that's definitely doable at this smaller scale as well. Prime white and apothecary wash. I'm thinking that's the thing. Yeah. Would it look good in 15mm scale if there were 3 ranks for a nation that used 3 ranks? Yeah, I mean, it could do. I certainly wouldn't say don't do that. More models is better. But you are painting a 3rd extra men. So, and those costs in both money and time can soon add up. So, yes, I certainly think that would be the ideal, really, would be to have that 3rd rank. But it doesn't seem to be a wargaming convention, and I don't really know why, to be honest. Because yeah, it would look cool. It would certainly. One of the things I like about, say, 6mm in particular, is when you have the formations on a base. So you can have, say, the 4 squadrons of cavalry in, a square, basically 2 lines of 2. Ooh, I found another Shakos. That's nice. And you can have them on a single base. I really like the look of that. So yeah, I don't see why you couldn't. And it'd also make the British look more like the thin red line than they would otherwise as well. If everyone's running around with two deep bases, you don't really get that impact of them being the thin red line, as it were. So yeah, no, that's definitely doable. You can see the different resins I've used here. So this is both off the same printer, I think, but the lighter ones have certainly printed a lot better than the darker ones. So it might be that this resin wasn't properly shaken, or maybe it just had a bit too much WD-40 in it from where I've been replacing it, or various other things. But it's not quite as good as the lighter resin. So, and this stuff you can see is absolutely covered in bits. So what these white bits are is it's where resin has been washed off previous models, stayed in the alcohol, and then it turns into like flakes. Well, it's not flakes. It's like the best way I can describe. Now this is going to be super niche, but some of you will know. If you've ever had shark fin soup, it kind of looks a little bit like the what do you call it? Not chitin. It looks a little bit like the shark fin stuff. I am not clearly not in the mental capacity to think about cartilage. There you go. It's a bit like the cartilage that you have in that. And yeah, it's not very pleasant. It's easier to clean once it's before it's cured, to be honest. But I was obviously rushing, and because it's the same color as the resin, before it dries, you can't always see it either. So that's why you need a proper washing and curing station, which I don't have. Thomas, the vignettes in games must going to be using. Oh, fantastic! That's cool. Hello, Devil Duck 2. Columns do look better as well. Your NCOs are only filling with delaminated bottoms. It's yeah, absolutely. If it is printed, the material cost would not be that great. Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. So I could probably just bin them, but the thing is, when you've got 4 out of 5 models of printed, I mean that one there I just kept for the lulz more than anything else. But I always try and stay in alcohol myself. Yeah, absolutely. Well, not this stuff. This is like 99% proof. So yeah, Thomas. Yes, that's cool, man. I really like. I like that you like it. That's great. One thing I might suggest is, if you haven't already, check out Under Eagles to Glory. Now, there's a link to the pack in the description of last week's video, because that's got the full. That's got them all written down, basically. So you can just download that, and it's got the. It's got all the rules written down, and they're easy for all your campaign mates to see. We're actually starting a War Master campaign at the club in November. I always complain that the club doesn't come together and do any campaigns or anything like that. So I thought I'd be the change that I want to see. So I'm starting a fantasy War Master campaign, which I'm really looking forward to. I think that's going to be really good. So hopefully people will get into that. I'm probably going to use my ogres for that. General Dan's got his chaos. Baldy Lee, he's going to be using his orcs and goblins. And I think we've got a high elf army playing. Almost certainly there'll be a Tomb King army. And I think someone's on about bringing. I think someone's on about bringing vampires, but I'm not 100% certain about that. But yes, no, I'm very much looking forward to that one. So I couldn't find the name of the painting. Oh, never mind. So I definitely need to mix it. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, 100%. Right, so that's basically what I've got so far. So I've got most of an extra Grenadier battalion there. As for downtown, we use it as a standard. It's taking grape shot. Absolutely, yeah. I'd say it looks, because I don't know how it's printed like this, but it looks like I say, just a giant Ottoman cannonball has gone through. I mean, they are Austrians, so it's possible. So, do I have to wash them in soap and water before undercoating? No, because they're printed. So the reason that you wash models before you paint them is because when they're in a mold, they have a release agent on them, which is like a grease. And you need to wash that off, because it'll stop the paint getting on. But you can, because there's no release agent, you don't need to wash them. You can't wash them, of course, and it wouldn't necessarily be the worst idea in the world. But yeah, you don't necessarily need to. Now, one of the things that I can do actually now I've got these sort of spares, is these Grenadiers are going to be. I mean, that one can go in the bin because I need to print some more anyway. So they're going to be a bit too much. I'm keeping that one for the lulz. But I've got two strips of Austrians here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to grab a couple of NCO ones. So where are we? There we are. Or a couple of ones that maybe haven't printed ideally, and pop these two into it. The reason for that is that, I mean, these two strips are neither here or there, really. This is 2 bases, so that's most of a regiment or a battalion. These two, neither here or there, really. So I can replace some badly printed ones with those. But yeah, so that's this is my Austrians so far. Let's take the camera out of the cradle and have a quick butchers. So those are the Hungarians on the right. They need 2 more strips. So these Germans could always find their way into the Hungarians if necessary. In the middle there, I've got 6 lots of 2 sprues. Those are going to be the Grenadiers. Hello, Dom. Nice to see you, buddy. It has been a while. No Empire campaign. I wanted to bring my Empire, Luke, but I'm not going to get them painted in time. Devil, yes, I had a lovely time. It was. I hope you did as well. I spent too much money. I started a new project, sort of. But apart from that, yeah, no, it was great. So these are the 3 battalions of line infantry. Now these are all Germans. They've all got helmets on. I was going to make a Semitic joke there. It wasn't going to be anti-Semitic. It was just going to be a Semitic joke. But I'm not going to make that joke. So, but those 3 battalions are Germans, and as I say, I've got most of a battalion of grenadiers here as well. So overall, I'm pretty happy with that. That's a decent starter army for the Austrians, I think. Now, to the sound of the guns, we're looking around about 800 points. So I'm going to increase the points. Yeah, you can just see in the top corner there my US Marine dice. I'm playing Team Yankee tomorrow if I feel any better, which I may not, to be honest. But yeah, so this is my 3 battalions of Germans, Grenadiers, and Hungarians there. So I'm not planning on spending too long painting these. I think you guys have persuaded me that the white undercoat with the apothecary white and then a quick cheeky dry brush is probably the way to go. As I say, I don't want to mess around with them too much. Now, I do have some baggies somewhere, which are not... yeah, I do have some baggies. I can't quite see them at the moment, though, so I'll pack all those away when we get there. I've got this chap was in the box as well. So he is a skink, so he's going to help out the Hungarians, I suppose. Maybe stick a salamander in there as well, help them out. But yeah, so that's the Austrians. I'm actually going to knock it on the head a little bit early tonight, just because I am feeling a little bit rough. But before I go, we've still got time. Has anyone got any questions? Anything they'd like to ask? We are very quickly running out of painting time. We've only got 2 more of these live streams left, I believe, or it might be 3. Because of the light, that's why I'm not doing any painting. The next 2 of them are probably going to be building. I've got 3 boxes of Victrix early French to build, so I may well be doing those. But the light's too bad. I could probably do with replacing this light with a daylight bulb, but I'm slightly concerned because I'm in the attic. I'm slightly concerned that if I do that, then the police will come around because they'll think I've got a cannabis farm. So that's genuinely what's putting me off doing that for now. So yeah, so has anyone got any questions? Unfortunately, my laptop has not been working for this whole stream, so if I've missed anything that someone's asked me or someone said, then apologies for that. Let me see if it's decided to work. I'm guessing probably not, because FML. Let's have a look. Tim, I have a problem. I have painted the full 3rd Corps of French, most of a cavalry corps, and a full corps of Prussians. Do I really have a problem? I mean, you've painted Prussians. I mean, that's not great, is it? But well, you have painted a corps of French, so I'll let you off. So I am, of course. Hello, Major. Painting Continental AWI. Very nice. I bought a new brush today, David. The first French arrived from back soon. A 5/0 from Rosemary and Co. I always go for pure sable for detail work. That's fair enough. Yeah. I just found out I'm getting to take Junot's regiment as Fuentes d'Honoro, so we're happy to get the Irish Legion out. Fantastic! That's excellent. Better, yes, you've stopped. Absolutely, yeah. You need more, as Kylo Ren would say. Oh, well, that's really cool. No, that's a good command to have, that one, Thomas. So I hope Captain Byrne does you proud. Nice to see some smaller minis. I'm quite tempted to pick some Prussians or French from Warlord Epics and paint them as Russians and Austrians. I hope that the scale masks the glaring errors. Mike, I don't know if you were here last week, but I did mention there's a guy on eBay that sells these prints, so these ones. So these are Austrians. He sells these and he sells Russians. So if you don't have your own printer, he sells an army. It's not It's not cheap, okay? I'm not going to pretend that he's like, giving them away, because he's not. It's about £100. So they're about equivalent price to Warlord. Now, you could say, well, he's printed them, he should do them cheaper than Warlord. He's not got the overheads. That's true, but he's not got the economy of scale either. And he's clearly using Warlord's pricing as his basis. So what I would recommend at the very, very least is to pop them into your basket, and he might offer you a discount on them. Or, yeah, you could do Austrians and Russians. And, I mean, certainly the Prussians you could use Brits for. The Prussians in 1814 received a huge amount of British uniforms. Let me see, you could do Russians? You could probably do 1805 Russians, would probably be the easiest thing to do. But ultimately, I mean, yeah, you get 1850 models, painted with green. They're Russians, aren't they? So, who will the next Napoleonic figure be? Oh, well, I'm working on 3 at the moment, and it's depending on which one I can finish first. Well, I'm actually working on, I'm working on 3. So I'm working on the Duke of Brunswick, so that's alongside me doing the video on the Brunswickers, which is coming, I promise. I'm doing one on the woman whose name I can never remember, and she's the Cavalry Maiden. I need to go back and reread the Cavalry Maiden to get some more details about that. And rip to what was a horse? Was it Agamemnon? Spoiler alert. It was something like that. It was like a Greek, like an ancient Greek thing. So yeah, and I'm also looking at Dorsen as well. Check last week's stream. No, on the video, Clive, the weekend video, the battle report. It's on the battle report from last week. Let me see if it comes up. Watched items. Ooh, right, there's a Egyptian army on there. What brushes do I use? I to be honest, I tend to use Games Workshop brushes because I acquired a huge number of them when I was working for the company. I also have a load of brushes I got from Adepticon, which came with my ticket, and I don't really know who they are from. I was just sort of sent to go and get them. So they're quite cool as well. If you ever see me using like a double-headed brush, that was from those guys. So as I say, I'm not 100% certain what the company was, I'm afraid. He had a big gong anyway, and he like when anyone cashed in their their expensive ticket, he'd bash the gong and go, "A legend has arisen," which is very, very fun and embarrassing at the same time. So yeah, he was a British guy as well, so that was quite cool. That's one way to promote. Well, it is, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I really enjoyed watching how to start Prussians this week. I wonder what you're taking. I'm walking into the Atlantic box of Prussian reserves. Excellent. Yeah, really good. I don't think they were out when I made that video, or if they were, I hadn't seen them at the time. But I've subsequently gone to some games up in Morpeth, and some of the guys up there had them. And yeah, they're really, really nice. There are no rules for them specifically, but to be honest, I would probably just I'd probably just use them as normal Prussian line. I can't really see why there would be any difference. So yeah, so you're asking about the Russians and Austrians. So I'm looking now, Epic Battle. So if you go onto eBay, check out Epic Battles, and then MC is in Master of Ceremonies, miniatures for Black Powder. Now he does different size bundles. The army bundle is the best value because you get more, you get 2 of the small ones for less than the price of 2 small ones. But it's a big layout. It's like £125, I think. Yeah, £125, 48. Now with that, you would get 8 mounted brigade commanders, 12 units of Russian line infantry, 4 units of Russian grenadiers, 48 skirmishing Jaeger, 20 Krasiers, 20 dragoons, 20 hussars, and 2 to 6 foot artillery battery, 8 guns, so that's 2 batteries really, or possibly 4 depending on how many guns per battery you go, with limbers, and then 3 guns for a horse artillery battery, with limbers as well. So I'd probably look at going 2 guns for a battery then. Or maybe, well, I'll probably end up going with 4, actually. So you've got 12 units of Russian line. Now, the Warlord Games, a box of I think is 30 quid, I want to say. Could be 20. Let's have a look. Epic, because that does matter. Epic Napoleonic. Right, a box here is £24.40. That's from Wayland Games. So you're looking at about 25 quid. So that gives you 3 battalions of infantry, a commander, and a cannon. 3 commanders and 3 cannons. Now, you don't really need the 3 commanders necessarily. So you're for 25 quid. So for 125, we're looking at 5 of those boxes. So that would give you 15 units of line infantry. So you're getting 16 units here, if you include the grenadiers as well. Skirmishing Jaegers, it'd give you some skirmishers as well. I'm not entirely certain how many. But you'd also have to buy the cavalry on top. So there's a box of cavalry. So they are roughly the same price as buying them from Warlord. You're not making a huge saving. But he does do Russians, he does Austrians, he does 1806 Austrians, and which is a bit weird. And he also does later Austrians as well. It's the seller is Nerd Games, so Nerd Games, but with an A between the R and the D of nerd. Check them out if you're interested in doing alternative armies. I possibly would, but as I say, you're not going to, if you like, I want to get into it for cheap. That's not a way of doing it, I don't think. So, have I, right, I'm just going back up to the questions. Have I started playing Silver Bayonet yet? How do you like it? Yes, Rex, I have started playing it. I've played, I played a mission that the guy who was showing it to me made up, where he had to fight a load of pigmen. that was excellent. And then I fought the first 2 battles of the Castle Fear, and I have had a quick run through of the first one of the Egyptian campaign. I've just printed the zombie camels for that, so I'm quite looking forward to painting those and busting them out. And did I like it? Absolutely love the Silver Bayonet. I really, really, really like the Silver Bayonet. It's super silly, but it's right up my street. I really, really enjoy it. I think it's fantastic. So yes, and in a basic word, yes, I really, really like it. So, cheers for the shoe though, Tim. Don't worry, we'll keep you. Excellent. I tell you what, I feel like I could do the pick me up at the moment. I'm not sure if that's the way to go. Mike, you have one. You have. Well, I'm not sure what that's referring to. I'm hoping it's not the daylight bulb business. So, how many streams will there be? So, British Summertime ends the last Saturday of, last Saturday of October. So, actually, there might only be one left because it's Saturday the 1st of November. Which I should know because my birthday is Sunday the 2nd of November. So, I should have known that, shouldn't I? Hint, hint. Yeah, so there may only be one left, actually, depending on the weather. Now, depending on when the clocks go back. Now, I will, however... Oh, no, there should be... Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, there might only be one. Now, the first week of November, I am off work because it's my birthday. So I might do a live stream in November. So keep an eye on the... the YouTube messages. Did I go to the Warlord Open Day? Wondering if there was news on Napoleonic supplements. I did not, Dom. I did do a video about Ministry of Miniatures video on the Open Day. No, but the reason I didn't go was my brother wanted to go, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And I was waiting to get paid before I booked the tickets. And then by the time I got paid, it said they were sold out, which I didn't even realize there was a cap on them. So that was why. So instead, we went to Bury and the Arcade Club. And we also did a virtual reality Space Marine experience, which was absolutely awesome. Dare I say, better than the Warlord Open Day. They did mention the Leipzig supplement, did the Major Clanger. That's fantastic. So that's good to know. One other question, where would I get some copper poles for my standards for 28mm? Have seen some about, but just thought I'd ask. The best place I would recommend is Pendraken Miniatures. They sell either spears or pike. So you've got like the leaf bladed spear tip, like, you know, like a cartoon spear basically, or just a pike tip. If you want eagles, you can buy them separately from Front Rank. You can buy Polish eagles from Front Rank as well. You used to be able to get, there was a Russian company that sold 24 karat eagles, and I've gutted I didn't get any. They were quite expensive. They were like £20 an eagle, but it's not actually that bad, I don't think. That's ridiculous. But yeah, so there was a Russian company that did them. I don't know if you can still get hold of them. I would have thought not. So cheaper entry to naps. I think Dave Bentown's a suggestion. He does at 6mm. That's true. That's true. Barry mentioned, yeah, no, Deadline Satellite. It was a fantastic day. If you get a chance to go to Arcade Club, absolutely go. And if you get a chance to go to, it was like a virtual reality place on like the outskirts. It was in like a business village type thing. Yeah, that was pretty cool. So, Ferriby Viking, great to bump into your partisan last Sunday. Hope I didn't spend too much. Yes, I did, Ferriby Viking, but that's okay. That was good. Just as I was walking out, I was like, there's something I wanted from Empress Miniatures. I was like, oh, what was it? Can't remember. So I stopped at Empress Miniatures. I was like, you know what? I'll buy some M60s for Vietnam. So I've got some M60s. I was like, yeah. I think that was probably it. What else? Like, oh, no, hang on a minute. It was something Victorian. So I'm not sure I can add the M60s to my Victorian collection. But maybe. But it was nice to see you as well, buddy. So it was nice to meet you. Well, nice to see you again. But yeah, well, I that's it. I'm gonna end it 3 minutes early. I'm gonna plead illness. Thank you for joining me today. It's been a bit rambly. The idea really was just to show off these epic scale Napoleonics. Now, a lot of people have complained that it's a proprietary scale that Warlord have done. They've done it so you can only use their models and things like that. Well, this is evidence that that's actually not the case. Now, just bear with me 1 second, because one thing I haven't done is compare them to a Warlord model. So hang on. If I can find any of this. That's the wrong box. Right, so I'm not entirely certain where my Napoleonics are, but yeah, these are some more epics of mine. Where are we? Right, so this is now these are ancients. These are blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, Hail Caesar. But you know, it'll give us an example of height. No, they're not on horses. That's good. Let's check this dude. So he's a standard bearer. He's a Carthaginian standard bearer. So he's in there, and then we'll place him next to these guys. And as you can see, they are exactly the same scale. The Warlord is maybe a little bit taller, but he is a character, so that might be why. So yeah, no, they are perfectly within scale. I cannot recommend these MC miniatures. Ooh, I don't know, that's how good. I cannot recommend MC miniatures enough. I think they're excellent. Just quickly before we go, I've also been doing these as well for Warmaster. I've got a bit of a Warmaster obsession going on at the moment. This is for you, Imra Hill. These are 10mm, these ones. So these are quite a bit smaller than the Warlord Epic ones. But yeah, there's some Knights of Dol Amroth for you. I thought you'd appreciate them. Although now I can see I've not painted the flagpole properly. I've missed loads of bits on the flagpole. That's embarrassing. And this is I'm also quickly as well. I know I said I was going to go, but I just can't stay away. This is how I'm going to base my Napoleonics. So these are Romans. They're Republican Romans. But it gives an example of how I'm going to base them. So you can see I've based them on, it's a 60mm wide base, and it's 40mm deep. So rather than the usual 20mm deep that the Warlord give you, and that's because I think I really like the bit at the front. It means that, you know, troops with bayonets sticking out and things like that are going to be okay, and it means that you get to have little columns like this as well. Now, not so much in ancient times, but in Napoleonic times, you would have a gap between the companies in a French column. The Austrians and the Prussians perhaps not, with their closed columns. But for me, I think they just look cooler than having them all crammed together like this. I mean, don't get me wrong. In a column, that looks pretty intimidating. But I do like the idea of just having them with a little bit in front. I just think it adds something to the unit. So there's also the ability to put skirmishers out in front as well. That's going to be particularly useful for Napoleonics. So yeah, there you go, guys. Thank you very much. I am going to knock it on the head here. I hope you've enjoyed this stream. As I say, it's been a little bit random. I was looking at my elephants as well. Okay. Quickly, this is the greatest model that Warlord Games have ever made. Is the elephant with the Roman in his trunk. Absolutely love that. That's just that. I absolutely love it. But thank you very much, guys. Have a good week. There will be a video this Sunday. And I hope to see you guys next week for what is potentially the final live stream of 2025. Because after, well, I don't know, it won't be, because I'm going to do a birthday one, aren't I? Sometimes I do one at Christmas, but I'm going away this Christmas, so I won't be doing one then. But thank you very much, guys, and I will see you all later. Have a good evening, and I'll see you guys Sunday.